Welcome back. This is part 3 in our series where we're learning how to deal with someone who lies and manipulates. And in this segment, what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you the top 10 ways that you can handle it, healthy things that you can do that help you keep a balance and handle this in a way that is going to be healthy for them, healthy for you. You're not enabling them. You're not creating a monster, basically. So here we go. The first one is to stay calm. It actually matters a lot if you don't get riled. So keep your emotions in check when you're dealing with someone who lies or manipulates. When you stay composed and you keep yourself rational and you are making rational decisions, then what happens is you avoid escalating the situation. And a lot of times someone who lies and manipulates is actually trying to get you riled because they know they can veer the conversation away from the, when they feel trapped, or if they feel like you're holding their feet to the fire. Then what happens, if they can get you riled, they can get you getting all upset, then what happens is they know they've already won. And that's how they feel. It's not a game, it's not who wins, who loses, but to them, that is what it is. The second thing is set boundaries. Establish what your boundaries are and be really clear about it. They have to understand exactly what they are. You outline what behaviors are acceptable, what the outcomes will be, what the consequences will be if those behaviors happen, and you've got to follow it. If you don't follow it every single time, then they'll just keep manipulating, and you are going to maintain this relationship, this symbiotic, unhealthy, manipulative relationship. So realize that you have a part in this. This is not, oh, well, they have this bad behavior, and so I have to deal with it. No, you are responding in ways that is allowing their behavior and teaches them that actually they can treat you like that, and that it actually works if they keep coming at you and at you and at you. First they act mad, and then they act sad, and then they act like they can't believe that you would be so unkind and that you're not even willing to help them when you have so much money. And this is what they do. And if they can get you to go in this cycle over and over and over, and eventually you give in, I'll just tell you, they'll do it every time. And if you try to stop the cycle, they will try harder to get you to go through the cycle. So if you feel like you're not strong enough, it's really hard for you to deal with something like that, then what I want you to do is pick one of these things. Pick one thing, that's the only one, and you are going to do that. Okay, the third thing is communicate openly. You need to express your concerns, express what your boundaries are. You might have boundaries, but if you never tell them what those are, you're not going to see the same level of being able to progress in the relationship. You have to be honest. You have to use statements like, this is how I feel, or this is what I will do. This is what we won't allow. And share how you love them, share how you feel about them. Just because it's frustrating, you tell them you love them, but realize that I can love them and not give in. I can love them and not give them money. I can love them and not let them move in. You can love them and hold your boundaries. So make sure in the communication part, avoid accusatory language and focus on addressing the specific issue at hand. Notice they will try to change the subject. They'll try to get you in a cycle going to different topics. Stay on the subject. Number 4, gather evidence. Not like you're a detective, but out of love, out of concern. You need to know what's going on. You need to know what the facts are to be able to make a healthy decision. If you're just flying by the seat of your pants and just guessing what's happening and saying, okay, well then this is my decision, you're basically you're not abiding by number 1, which is stay calm and make wise and healthy decisions. So in gathering evidence, when possible, collect evidence of like proof of their lies or their manipulation, and you can establish that when you are talking with them. The problem with someone who lies and manipulates, if that is the only thing you do, it will never work, because they are very good at twisting the truth and turning it into something that it wasn't. Or another thing that people who do this, like when I used to do this, we're very good at is twisting it so you feel guilty, so that you're the one who is doing something wrong. And we're very good at remembering things, and we talk really quickly, and we can jump back and forth between different situations and different circumstances, and we can sense exactly when you don't exactly remember. Because if you don't exactly remember, then what will happen is we take that one. And Say, that's why I said that to you, because you told me I could use the car. And so you never said that I needed it home at a certain time. You see what I'm saying? We go around in circles and we can twist it. So if you're just gathering evidence, that's not going to help. The gathering evidence is a good support for one of these others. Okay, the fifth one is seek support. Talk to friends, family, talk to a therapist. Have them guide you and support you in dealing with the situation. Because when you share your experience, you can gain knowledge and you can gain perspective, and it helps to get validation. Don't go out and be a whiner and complain. Doing that doesn't solve the problem. But to have someone who can validate where you're coming from, not just go, oh, I'm so sick of them treating you like this, that is not helpful. We want someone who is going to help guide you through the process of doing this in a healthy way. Number 6 is focus on your own well-being. You've got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Prioritize your self-care, maintain healthy habits, make sure that you're taking time for you, that you're not constantly in this, what sometimes feels like a battle with this person. You have to have time away from the situation. Because sometimes when you're dealing with this kind of thing, you feel pretty strong, you feel like you can handle it, but there are times when it gets so draining. And sometimes it's draining because of the actual situation and the relationship, and you just are feeling like, I can't take it anymore. But sometimes it's because regular life is happening. This isn't the only thing you're dealing with, is this person or this group of people. What happens is you have your own life. You're trying to deal with your life, and sometimes life gets hard, and then you've got this on top of it. You've got to keep yourself in a healthy place so that you can take care of it and you can handle it. Number 7 is practice assertiveness. Usually I find that people who struggle with someone who is manipulative in their life is because they're not assertive. And I know people who are extremely assertive. You might be one of those saying, oh, I'm very assertive, but yet in this situation, you're not. And so just because you're assertive in general doesn't mean you're being assertive in this situation in a healthy way. So think about that. Notice what you're doing. Notice if you're giving in, you're backing off because they do something and you feel guilty and you think, oh, well, yeah, maybe I shouldn't really say that. Maybe that really was kind of judgmental that I said that. So practice being assertive. Express your needs and your rights while maintaining respect for the other person. If you can learn how to do that, this will help establish a balance of power, because even though for someone who doesn't manipulate and lie, you don't want it to be this power struggle. But to the person who's lying and manipulating, it is. It is, and you need to understand that so that you can balance that and realize that you are being manipulated. And the better you get at being assertive, the better you'll get at being able to prevent further manipulation. Number 8, avoid engaging in their tactics. You know how I talked about how they'll go around in circles and they'll be talking as if, as if they remember something perfectly and you really don't totally remember. And so you kind of feel like, well, I can't say because I'm not 100% sure. So you need to avoid going in that circle with them. You need to avoid engaging in the tactics they're using, like getting riled, getting sad, where you feel like you need to comfort them. You need to resist the temptation to engage in dishonest behavior, manipulative behavior, because sometimes what happens is when you're dealing with someone who's lying and manipulative and dishonest, you feel like you have a right to be dishonest to get out of a situation so that you don't have to deal with it. Do not do that. That's the most unhealthy thing for you and for them. You need to stay somewhere that aligns with your values and act in a way that shows integrity and is who you really want to be. And if you're struggling and you feel like, yeah, but they're doing this or that, and so there's no other way. No, it's because you're not being assertive. It's because you're not being honest. It's because you're not holding healthy boundaries, doing some of these things that I'm listing here for you. So pick one that you're going to practice. Number 9, I want you to educate yourself. There are so many videos out there, this one included. Learn about manipulation tactics. Go back and watch the other couple of videos I made in this series, because I had experience being that. I understand it extremely well. So learn about the tactics they use, learn the psychology behind them so that you can better understand exactly what their motives are, what they're doing. You'll be able to recognize when you're being manipulated. Number 10, I want you to reevaluate the relationship. Sometimes it's really hard, but consider whether that relationship is worth maintaining. Given the dishonesty and the manipulation involved, if the situation becomes toxic or is harmful to your well-being, or a lot of people will think, well, they're not dangerous. if they're dangerous to your psyche, if they're dangerous to you becoming who you need to be, you keep falling into this argument and dishonesty with them because you don't want to have to deal with it. They say, hey, can I come over? You're like, I'm not home. You start doing this because you're trying to avoid it, you are sinking, and you don't want to sink to their level. So if the situation becomes toxic, if it's harmful to you, not just physically, then, or it's harmful to your well-being, then it might be necessary to distance yourself. Sometimes it's distance yourself for a short period of time. Sometimes it's a longer period of time. And depending on this relationship, sometimes it might be that you need to get yourself out of that relationship and effectively remove yourself from the relationship until their behaviors can change, until they can get into a healthy place. And it's so hard because you feel like, well, my life is so good. I have all these blessings. I need to make sure that I help them, that I have these things. But you have to remember, people need to be ready. If they're not ready to be helped, then you're not going to be able to help them. But you being healthy and doing these 10 things that I've shared with you, that's how you help them. Because some people have never had someone in their life who holds a boundary, who teaches them this really is the consequence. Because you watch the person who manipulates you. It might be an employee, it might be someone in your family, it might be a loved one, it might be a friend, it might be a boyfriend, girlfriend. Watch what they do, and you'll see that they are used to getting away with it. And the minute you start one of these things and you start putting your foot down, they'll try the tactics I talked about in the last couple of videos. So make sure you understand those so that you can recognize those. And then what will happen is if they're ready, they will start to have a little bit of progress, and they'll start to be able to work with you. And if they're ready, this is what will happen. If you take these steps, they will start to feel like you actually notice their self-worth. You think they are worth more than the way they're acting. So it's not even tolerable for you to deal with that because they're above that. That's how they feel. If they're not ready, they don't even want to go there. And it doesn't matter what you do. They will keep manipulating and lying and try to get the best of you and taking advantage of you. So my goal is that you'll be able to stop having them take advantage and help them at the same time. Because even if they're not ready and you need to either sever the relationship or see them for 2 minutes at a time, once a week, if it's someone you love and you don't want to stop seeing them, but you stop by to talk for a few minutes and then you leave. You make sure that you are not putting yourself in a situation where you are constantly having to battle the lies and the manipulation. Because if you stay while they're lying and manipulating and they don't take accountability and you keep talking with them, they believe they're getting away with it. So you're teaching them that this actually works and this is a way to get what they want. Now, I'll just end by saying that handling someone who lies and manipulates in a healthy way, it really requires you to maintain a healthy emotional balance for yourself. And this is good for you to practice and learn. It's good for all of us. Setting boundaries, focusing on self-care, and making sure that you understand their tactics and prioritize which of these items that we've talked about you're going to work on first, you can navigate the situation much more effectively. And you can protect yourself, you can protect them, and hopefully help them grow in the process and get to a place where they can have a more fulfilling life, where they can move beyond this dangerous mental space that they're in. All right, good luck. Let me know how it goes. Would love to hear things in the comments. Questions that you have in the comments will let me know what kinds of videos you want me to create, and I'll see you in the next video.